For the last, I'd say about 15, 20 years, I've done research on different types of learning environments. But I think the ones that I'm most excited about are the opportunities we have with early learning centers. And the reason for this is I think that these environments tend to be the ones where we can have the most fun with, where we really are exploring about how children learn, where we can be playful with color. In an article that I recently co-authored with Janine Betts, we looked at early learning centers beginning with Reggio Emilia, Montessori, and we also looked at forest kindergartens that are in Northern Europe, Germany and Sweden. And the one thing that we've really come to understand about them as well is while we can have fun with them, we don't really understand the policies and the paradigms around why Reggio Emilia works so wonderfully. Architects and designers like to fashion their ideas about early learning environments around this notion of the third teacher, where the building is this other entity that helps mediate learning. But we also have to understand the reason for this is grounded in what Reggio Emilia is and the reason it is successful. It's not just that the building is allowed, in a sense, to assist in the learning. It is, in a sense, required to do that because it's about a community of parents, of magistrates, of the whole township embracing this idea of what learning is. And when we look at Montessori environments, it's the same notion, except that the community in and of itself is the parents. And the reason why this is so important is that when we look at both of these environments, especially with Reggio Emilia, which talks about it as a third teacher, and we think about Montessori that calls the way they set up their environments as prepared environments, what they're really talking about is understanding how learning is occurring, how children acquire knowledge. It just doesn't happen automatically, but these places are structured to support learning. And in a project that I've done here at EIW Architects, we've embraced these ideas, understanding that if we can't have full, policies or politics behind our ideas, we can at least embrace some of the things that these two places do very successfully. And what we've done in an early learning center for Holy Cross College is we've created a variety of different spaces that support different types of learning activities. Yes, of course, we have classrooms, but within the classrooms we understand that they can be layered to support the different ways that children come together. And on the one hand, it comes from understanding Reggio Emilia. This understanding comes from research that I've done on learning environments, where I've actually studied how children learn and how they learn in cooperative groupings. So building upon these ideas, we've layered a classroom, meaning that there are areas specifically for larger group work at one time, and there are areas that could be used for smaller groupings, maybe 1 to 3 students. And then what we've done in layering the whole setting is that we've looked at creating breakout rooms that support certain types of focused activities with maybe 1 to 6 students. We've also looked at creating breakout niches which can grow or contract depending on what activities are occurring outside classrooms. We've also fashioned into cabinetry breakout hollows or holes where children can crawl into, where they can have a sense of privacy for themselves, but also be still connected to the work going on around them. And at the center of our early learning center, which, if you understand really Reggio Emilia, it's layered in such a way that everything connects at that central space, where that can operate as a formal classroom space. It can operate informally, or it can just be seen as this element that supports a variety of different learning styles to happen around it. I think we will be very successful once this project is designed. And taking this one step further, while I'm talking about the building itself and the classrooms and the spaces outside the classrooms, we also need to consider the forest kindergarten, which I mentioned earlier, which is taking young children outside into colder climates, but also from their experiences in these settings, they learn how to transact with the physical environment, the natural environment, and And most importantly, I think that we shouldn't be afraid of looking at children and teachers learning in outdoor places, no matter how harsh conditions are. And the reason for this is that we're not made to just be inside. We should think about learning as extending beyond classrooms into quarters, but even to go beyond that into the spaces outside. Because if we do that, we're actually doing a greater service to our children and to our teachers, because we're learning how to coexist, how to negotiate spaces in a variety of different settings. So as my research continues, I hopefully will be able to go back to this early learning center that we've designed here in Ellenbrook, in Perth, and find out if what we've done is successful.